Tiffany
Hi.
Finley.
Hey guys.
Wow, look, this is how you start a week with two of the coolest girls, really, like in Kentucky. I mean, Tiffany Finley, executive director of the Master Musicians Festival, and Julie Harris, vice president of the board of directors and all around cool chick. Love it.
Oh, and we're just surprised you're back from South by Southwest in one piece, and
Yeah, I'm
you're
surprised
okay
myself.
and
Yeah,
happy.
underslept but happy. Yes. How are you doing, Tiffany?
I'm doing wonderful. Just had
And
a good
you
day.
know, I love it. I love it. And first of all, guys, like I said, you guys, were core part of the Master Musicians Festival. And I love you both because I have to start with this, both of you, because the emotional state that both of you guys are always in. And I mean this for Julie and Tiff, like whether it's in Kentucky or in Nashville, wherever I see you guys, you're always in an emotional home that is joy, that is energy, that is community. And I appreciate that, guys. And I'm glad that I'm able to tell you this to start off.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you. I mean, I think that you would find that to be true of all the members of our board of directors. I mean, we love our community so much and we love music so much. We love Kentucky so much. And so anytime that we have an opportunity to promote it and to enjoy good music and share it with others, we are happy. So and we get to do that a lot of the time. So
Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad you're saying that, Julie, because the Master Musicians Festival is an incredible gem. It really is. And like Tiffany mentioned, we cover all sorts of events, and this one has a magic to it. I
mhm.
mean, it has like an aura of exclusivity. It kind of feels like a privilege to be there because it's
oh,
like the family element, the fans, the amazing musicians, and it kind of feels like an intimate environment, and it's just like a really special vibe. But yeah, but Tiff, let me start with this. When you joined as president of the All Volunteers Master Musicians Festival, it was struggling a little bit, right? Like it's not like the success that it is now. Like you kind of picked it up, right?
well, I would say, the festival's been going on for 29 years, and I've been doing this is my 13th year with the festival. But when I became part of the festival, it was just a time, and you'll see that all through the 29 years, ups and downs, ups and downs. And it was just happening to be on a downslide um, where my boss at the time just allowed me to really take ownership of the festival and give all I had to you know make sure it keeps going. So but yeah, whenever I took over, it was in a little dire straits, but I just made sure that I surrounded myself by with tons of good people that knew what they were doing from all walks of life, and I really feel like we have built this into something that not only our community is proud of, but our state, and now starting to be more national.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And the people element is really cool, Julie. And I wanted to talk to you about this because, I remember reading about your experience at like Ted Corbin, for example, right? And the
Mhm.
magnificent stories of the people of like Williamsburg and Pikesville and Slayersville. And it really got me thinking, Julie, like you mentioned the tenacity, the character of the people of Kentucky. It's something very, very unique, isn't it, Julie?
Gosh, it really is. I mean, people from Kentucky, I think, are some of the most, they have so much pride about this area. I mean, they really, really love Kentucky and they want to see it shine. And I think some of that is because we maybe nationally struggle with some perception issues, which I would argue to anyone who hasn't been to Kentucky, come and let us show you what it's really all about. It's beauty, it's great tenacity, it's entrepreneurship, it's horses, it's bourbon, it's all those things you think you know about Kentucky, and then it's so much more. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, I love hearing those stories from other Kentuckians because it kind of reinforces how I feel about Kentucky. It's a really authentic uh, feeling that we have and that we want to share with other people. And I think MMF is really part of that story. I mean, we have a great way of sharing that authenticity and cultural music heritage with the people of Kentucky and people outside of Kentucky. And that's what makes it special.
Yeah. Yeah, well said, well said, Tiffany. And before we get to the festival, we'll promise we'll get to it in a second. But Somerset in itself is a really cool place. I mean, I want to go that on a time that is not festival to enjoy it because it,
Yeah.
it has a lot of like outdoor recreation. It's
Mhm.
beautiful, boating, hiking, a vineyard, and it's also like really close to like Nashville and other metropolitan cities. It's like really easy to get to, right, Tiff?
Yeah, it's really easy. It's only 2.5 hour drive from Nashville. But what I think we're probably most known for is Lake Cumberland. We have the largest man-made lake this side of the Mississippi. We have over 4 million visitors a year that come to our lake. And if you
Wow,
put that in perspective, that's like what the Grand Canyon gets.
It's
You know?
more than the Grand Canyon.
It's
Yeah.
more
that's
than the Grand Canyon.
crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got lots of beautiful areas for hiking, camping, boating. Um, but we want people to get off the water and come to our festival, and I really encourage you to come in a few days early, and we'll just host you and show you around our town.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Okay, but let's chat about the festival in itself because I
Mhm.
mean it's crazy. The lineup this year is sick. I mean every year is sick, and that's one of the things that people are gonna love. I mean this year we have Grace Potter, the Wood Brothers, Marty Stewart, S.G. Goodman, we were just
Yeah.
with last weekend. We talked about the
Mm.
festival.
Oh,
Actually,
you
I
Yes.
said
did?
I said see you in Somerset. She's like, yeah, man. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
that's cool.
And up and coming talents like Eric Bolander, who's going to be like a future star, and everybody knows it. The Minx, there really is something for everybody, isn't there, Julie?
There really is. And I think the thing that is also very special about it is that you get to hear something. You're going to find your next favorite artist at our festival. And we pride ourselves on being able to share new music with folks that they may not have heard before. And it's going to be something that years down the road, they're going to say, you know what, I heard them first at MMF before they got really big. And so that's been the case for several of our artists. But yeah, I'm super excited about the lineup. We've talked about having Grace Potter for several years. And so it's actually happening this time. I'm a huge Wood Brothers fan, really excited
Mhm.
about them. Really also honored to be able to recognize Marty Stewart and TD Young as masters. And so it's just going to be a great 2 days.
Yeah.
What about you, Tiff? I mean, you've seen everything. You've seen, people, steal the show out of nowhere, like B. Taylor,
Oh,
Jason Isbell's played there.
yeah.
What memories, like when you think of Master Musicians Festival, like just like, jump into your conscience there?
Yeah, I've got two right off the bat. One is obviously our Willie Nelson year in 2013. That year, the festival really took a big leap of faith and booked a major headliner. We really grew that year. It was for our 20th year. And Willie, and you've been to Festival Field, you know how the road and the bands come right by the festival field where all the fans are. And right as the sun was going down and the crowd was all hyped because Mountain Heart was playing, Willie Nelson's bus rolled into Festival Field, and the band on the stage stopped and was just like, "Say hello to Willie, everyone!" And the whole crowd stood up and was just like, and I was like right in the middle of it, right at that time. And we have a picture of it. I get chills just
Goosebumps. Yeah.
thinking about it because it's just like for Willie Nelson to be in Somerset, Kentucky at the time, and we've really grown since then, but at the time, people still wear that as like a badge of honor. They're like, "Oh, well, we had Willie Nelson." I mean, it was 9 years ago, but they just love it. And then another moment I would have to say is the next year when we had Counting Crows.
Mm.
We had booked an up and comer called St. Paul and the Broken Bones right before Counting Crows, and they had forgotten about the time change. And it was time for their set. Well, they had about 30 minutes to get there, and they were about 30 minutes out, because they had forgot about the time. So they rolled in. If you've ever seen St. Paul, they're in the fancy suits, especially in
Yeah.
their early days. And you've been to Festival Field, so we don't have changing rooms or anything out there, but seeing them like jumping behind dumpsters, changing into their suits, definitely saw some butts, of St. Paul just trying to get it done. And they rolled out on the stage and they just killed it. I mean, people still talk about that performance to date, just how much energy. I think they were just so hyped up from being late and having to hurry, but it was probably until B. Taylor, probably the only time our crowd just gave a standing ovation for
Yeah.
for it, because everyone sits in lounges and stuff. So, I mean, the crowd went wild for them. So that
Oh,
was a great
so
memory.
so good. You gave me
And,
goosebumps there, Tiff.
yeah, and of course Sean Prawn, his last date in Kentucky, and seeing him
Sure.
dance on festival
Yeah,
field
yeah, it was so
across
great.
the stage. That was so cool.
So
Yeah.
cool. So cool, Julian. A lot of the feedback we get from people is, festivals have gotten so expensive. We can't afford to take our families, tickets to, without naming names, are, $300 average just for the normal
Right.
GA. BIPs go to thousands of dollars. So a lot of people maybe are thinking, all right, Jamie, this is great, but, the Wood Brothers, Grace Potter, how much is like, can we afford this? And one of the great things about MMF is it's extremely affordable. So I
Yes.
wanted to, can you just touch on
Mhm.
that just for a second, Julie? Like, how do you
Yeah.
do it, first of all, and just how family friendly it is?
We are a nonprofit festival for that purpose, to keep our ticket prices low, because when we started back in 1994, it was really important to us to be able to provide an experience to people of rural Kentucky that they could afford. So if you go online right now to mastermusiciansfestival.org and buy your tickets, you're going to spend $65, and you're going to get 2 days of incredible music. And so we spend a lot of our year recruiting sponsors that help support the festival and help us be able to keep those prices low. Our community really gets behind our festival wholeheartedly. We couldn't do it without our incredible lineup of sponsors, but they see that mission, and that's why we work very hard to remain a nonprofit festival, because we want to provide that experience to fellow Kentuckians and those outside of Kentucky to just come and experience outstanding music for a great price. And kids 12 and younger get in free, which is great. So we have a lineup of kids activities Saturday afternoon. We have this year Tommy Kate's Kids Jam, which is going to be awesome. Tommy Kate is a former board member and Kentucky musician who is going to give the kids a great concert. They'll make some instruments and play along with them. So we always have something like that happening at the festival. So bring your kids. If they're under 12 years old, they get in free. You get in for a really inexpensive price, and the experience that you're going to have is going to be magical.
I love
Yeah.
it. I
And I
love it.
will say too, Jamie, that like a lot of our board members, including Julie, like were kids growing up at the festival and now have become leaders in the festival. And a lot of our sponsors are people who grew up as little kids enjoying the festival. So it's like a full circle.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, guys. You guys have been so good with your time, but let's finish off with the way we started, because I think you guys touched the question. Tiff and Julie, like, how are you guys such special people? Like, what do you guys do? I know Julie plays tennis. Like, what's the
Oh,
secret?
I
Like,
don't.
you guys
I
keep
don't.
relationships. You guys wear so many hats. You guys do it all. How do you do it?
Yeah. I would say we're friends. Like Julie and I are really
Mhm.
good friends, and most of our board members, we're all friends. We make sure we have people from all walks of life serving on the board, and that we actually have fun doing this too. And yeah, I don't know what makes you so special. You're a great interviewer, I'll tell you that.
Uh,
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you. Just people like you make it easy. That's the
Yeah.
truth. But yeah, I mean, Tiffany Finley, executive director, and Julie Harris, vice president, board of directors, and all around awesome, super women. We love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be in that special field again. Thank you guys so much for your time.
We're
Thank you,
excited to have
Jamie.
you. Thank you.
Absolutely. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can you guys hear me all right? I'm sorry. I'm in a country radio seminar in the media room, and I try to block out the noise. Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
Lovely, lovely guys. So first of all, of course, for my audience, Nate is mandolin and fiddle player for Pert Near Sandstone. Great band. And Justin is bass player for the band as well.
Yep.
Thank you guys for your time. I know you guys are very busy. You got a lot going on, and we appreciate your time.
No sweat, man. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And by the way, guys, you guys co-founded one of the most beautiful festivals in America, Blue Ox. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, it's we covered it last year, and just the water, the breeze, the pines, the energy there. I kid you guys not. There was something special there, like a congruence of energy and nature. It really is like a unique place, right, guys?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I think we're just really fully blessed by the land that we're on, the people we're working with, the audience that's in this area that's hungry for this music. And we just happen to, have this sort of window where we could carve out this festival and have it be what it's become. And yeah, we're just really lucky that all these elements fell in place.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, 100%. And the talent as well, of course, it's so unique. And I want to ask you guys about your new music in a second, but the talent of the festival, one can tell you guys kind of handpick each artist. I just get that sense, like, right? Like last year, of course, like the big headliners were like Jason Isbell, but you had like a friend of our show, Lizzie or Lily May. And this year's no exception. You know, Sam Bush, you have amazing people. Like you know, Old Crow Medicine Show. I'm blanking on a bunch, you know, but it's just a great of stuff. What is the criteria, guys, for you guys to like select the talent here?
Well, we want to stick somewhat with a genre specific sort of overarching umbrella, but within that, it's kind of broad. We know we want to bring in certain people who will kind of be the fix for the bluegrass community, but we also want to bring in, you know, country or rock crossover to make more, you know, just to have more instrumentation and just a bigger sounds on stage. We also want to bring in people who we know about and want to introduce maybe to this region who don't get up here very often. So it's kind of, there's a lot of factors.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we really try to stick in like the roots Americana realm, and that's such a broad genre.
It is.
And the audience, you know, like I guess we try to provide a little bit of something for everybody who comes to the fest. We have like the jam grass late night party sets. We have the quieter acoustic sets, and we're happy to provide those on the main. You know, the quiet sets are on main stage during the day, and some of the raucous party sets are in the backwoods at night. So there's really kind of a place for every type of audience. What they're looking for.
There sure is, guys. And Nate, Justin, there is something in this part of the country. I've been figuring it out. There's something going on here, like Wisconsin, you know, Minnesota with bluegrass. I mean, there's like you guys coming out of there, you know, great new talent like Barbaro. I'm blanking on a few, but there is, I feel like there's something growing on in that part of the country. Why do you guys think that is? It's really special what's happening there.
Well, it goes back, you know, at least in our region, in our specific city, it goes back to the 60s. It was all kind of born out of
the folk boom that was happening around the country, that was happening here on the West Bank campus in Minneapolis and Dinkytown.
Okay.
I mean, once it sort of establishes itself, I feel like the momentum has always like carried it through. There's always been a scene for, I mean, all music in this town. And Minneapolis has always been great for all genres. But, you know, in the roots Americana realm as well, it was all kind of established back, like we said, in the 60s folk boom, and it hasn't really ever gone away, you know, and you just, new talent just keeps coming and going.
Yeah. And I think there's, even prior to that, there's just looking at the communities that form Minneapolis. Like we have a strong Scandinavian community, which is very community oriented and which has a huge tradition of folk music that really, that really lends itself to, you know, gave a platform for folk music when that became popular back in the 50s and 60s. But I think just looking outside today, it's snowy and it's cold and we're kind of isolated from the rest of the country up here. And so I really theorize that there's a do-it-yourself mentality in Minnesota and the upper Midwest that it's kind of how this genre really formed and has percolated from back in the history of it.
Oh my God, totally. And by the way, Eau Claire is such a magical town. I feel like there's like kind of like magic in the food, in the people. It's just really interesting spot there.
It is. I mean, it's a great community, and it's situated on the river, and it's kind of like it's its own thing for sure, and it's got a great
own thing. Like people in the summer, like what is it that they do with the rafts? Like and just like from side to, it's just like a different kind of vibe. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it, guys. So this festival, how did it started in 2004, right? Like how was like the genesis of this festival for you guys?
2014 we were on tour out west in Colorado with the Traveling McCurries.
14.
And and our partners at the festival, the Bishels, were out there watching. They went to a McCree's show and saw us and approached us.
Realized that we're, you know, kind of hometown or home region band representing this music. And, you know, they were producing the Country Jam USA Festival, and really
Sure.
saw us and envisioned us as a way to maybe bring in this other genre, this little like side branch of country music into their festival. And we could, you know, help them produce a little bluegrass stage. And when we got out to see what's only the campground of this much larger country festival, we saw
Yeah.
what has become the grounds of the Blue Ox Festival, the rolling hills, like you spoke about, the rolling hills, the pond, the pine trees. Like we looked at the grounds and said, this is absolutely perfect for a standalone contained bluegrass or roots festival.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it's kind of blossomed from there.
100%. And you know, one of the things I have to plug in like really cool stuff about the festival that are really unique. One of them is like the family aspect of it. I felt like, you know, some festivals are more geared towards other age groups or there's a different vibe. This one has for everything, including kids, like just like all ages. Like for example, the family stage and entertainment activities, you know, 9-hole disc and golf course and the, you know, all that good stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Can you just talk to us a little bit about how like you guys made a festival that really like brings everyone together regardless of age, gender, or whatever?
Yeah, well, I mean, part of the philosophy of, you know, building an audience for this festival, this genre of music, this region, was, you know, make it family friendly and get the kids in and make sure they understand and how fun and how wonderful music festivals are and can be, you know.
Right.
And making the kids free was just a no-brainer, and it was just, you know, us and the Bishels were big proponents of that, and we love it. We just love the fact that kids get in there and just you run wild, you know, and they play
It's great.
play with the bubbles and just, you know, they've created their own little culture there too, which is exciting to see. And I know a lot of kids, talking to parents, other parents and festival goers who bring their kids, sometimes it's like the one thing a year the kids really can't wait for and are looking forward to in the summertime, you know. And that's, I mean, exactly.
Yeah, 100%, guys. And let me ask a little bit about you guys and the band and what you guys are doing specifically. For example, the Road to Blue Ox tour. I think this is pretty cool, and I think you guys are going to start touring like this weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So what's the idea? Obviously, like a mini tour, kind of like get, you know, work out the music muscles and get people to like come to Blue Ox.
Yeah, just kind of spreading the word about the festival through our channels of performance and outreach. And yeah, we're proud of what this festival's become. We're proud that we're representing it, and we're just trying to get as many people involved with it and to know about it as possible. We think about it as our little Midwest Telluride festival. You know, we're representing this sort of the special thing in our region.
I know. I kind of don't want too many people to find out about it, so we're like contradicting ourselves by doing this. But like, we gotta talk about it.
Well,
And-
we did cap the number of tickets this year at 5,000, so that will help keep it keep the vibe that we've created and
Okay.
not let it grow too big and get.
Yeah, which is important. You know, it's important to have that inclusivity, like with the children and things. But yeah, you want it to maintain that sense of intimacy as well.
Yeah, totally. And you know, guys, I think my audience is gonna be like, wow, like these guys are really great communicators, and you know, you guys have a great podcast about this, and like we've enjoyed a few episodes, and you guys have become such great at it. And it seems like you guys are really enjoying it. Was this like a pandemic thing? Like, how was this podcast born?
Well, we actually started it. This is our third season now,
Fourth.
our fourth season of now doing this. So we should have done more during the pandemic, but yeah, it's been really fun just for us to interview artists, get to know artists, and introduce our audience, our listeners, to artists that are coming to the festival that maybe are lesser known, as well as just to get to know people like Sam Bush and Jerry Douglas a little better through chatting with them.
Sure.
And letting people sort of eavesdrop on the festival, or those sort of exchanges between festival artists.
Yeah, or if it's like an artist like Lily Mae, who we're just super stoked about, and we want to make sure that we get people who are coming to the festival excited about her and her music, and stuff like that. And it's just fun to do. I love talking to musicians, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Agree, guys. Well, you guys have been so good with your time. Let me leave you with this. Knock on wood, I think we'll be hopefully covering it, the event this year. What are some tips? Because last year I think the whole thing was like so new and overwhelming. But like, what are some tips that you guys know? Like maybe like those late night concerts, or like some special foods. Like what should people like from the organizers, the real nitty gritty, like the 411 of Blue Ox Music Festival.
Well, I mean, if you're a musician at all, or if you're a novice, or you're at all interested in learning an instrument, bring it with, and don't be afraid to play it, and go out and find people to play with, and head to the potluck string band picking circle, because there's no more welcoming spot at Blue Ox than that spot.
Right.
I just really, that's like one of my favorite things about it is getting people excited about actually playing music as well. And
we're providing the instrument workshops again this year. So
yeah,
beginner level instruments practitioner.
Love it.
Yeah, and
I love it.
I mean, also just don't miss the late night stages. There's always the late night shows are always so fun, and the vibe is just
super crazy.
It's
wandering around the campground, seeing the art installations. Like that's a pretty great addition to the festival as well, having that kind of that sort of experience of seeing lights and installations throughout the campground.
100%. Well, guys, I mean, we're super excited to see you guys perform. Thank you guys for your time. We're super stoked to be back in beautiful Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Blue Ox Music Festival taking place in June. Tickets still available. And guys, all the best of luck, with the Road to Blue Ox tour, and with all the projects you have going on, and Putting Your Sandstone. Congratulations, guys.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Take care.
Take care.